Welcome back to Peak Speed Lab 164. I'm Strick. This is the place where where gravity and mass meet friction and the ramp decides the results. You want to know what the results are going to be? Stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, please, so we can keep them coming so you don't miss out on anything else that we're presenting, especially if you're a fan of die-cast cars in the 164 scale or beyond. So my fellow diecaster blasters, it's time for another Real Riders, but we're going to hit double with Fast and Furious. You ready? You ready for this unboxing? Let's get it. So here we go. Look at this Nissan 240SX S14. This is one of 5 of this set. The Fast and Furious in this particular line. We've got, I don't know, the usual. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit so you can see these other cars. Sometimes they show the cars that are in the set, sometimes not. But I think it's time we do a little bit of unboxing here. What do you say? Now, thanks to a viewer named Grateful Sam, the number 8, so Grateful Sam. Hopefully I remember that correctly. This is how I'm going to unbox it. He said bottom right. So this is the bottom right. Let's see if he's right about the bottom right, because yes, I do feel like an amateur. Okay, that does a little bit of a puncture. Oh, this is coming out clean. Oh my goodness. All right. I love it. Got a comment, suggestion, and look, that thing just opened right up. Woo! This car feels like some weight to it, but it would make sense because premium parts, metal, rubber, all kinds of stuff in store for us. Let's set this aside. Let's do the usual close-up so we can see the artwork, the livery, the Toyota tires. Wow, look at that. Those rims look sharp. Come on now. I mean, yeah. What can one say about a car like this other than it's time to drive it? Look at that. Oh, I'm going to try to hold it steady. We even got a license plate. I love that when they have license plates and you see the badges pretty well. Nice little spoiler on the back. Nothing overly fancy as far as design up the top other than this hood, which is kind of cool. I don't see a scoop. But let's see what we got in the way of Thailand. I was going to say Malaysia, but I haven't paid attention, or, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't remember what the other Real Riders were. But what I am seeing is this axle. This is straight out of the box. This axle looks a little askew. So I'm not going to have high hopes for this thing. This thing could be in trouble on the short form drag strip. That said, let's get her measured up and on the short form drag strip right now. We're at the short form drag strip. My fellow die caster blasters just showed you the measurement process. Probably did that in fast motion. This car actually fell into the E weight class, it looks like, which maybe, yeah, it's only going to be the second car. It just barely got in there, but it's in there. So I'm thinking we need to run it through its usual 20 warm up laps like we typically do. And then we'll do the 10 official laps like we always do. But as always, we're going to do the very first lap on the track for the warm up, and then we're going to start from there. So here we go. Let's get it. Boom. Right there. All right. We're going to get this thing started, see if this Real Riders Fast and Furious car can handle its business. Or as we used to say back in the day, can handle its business. Oh, a little over 2 seconds. Not a good sign, but we do know these heavier cars. Well, I'm not even going to call it with the weight. It's more those rubber tires, so that's going to create some additional friction. And as we saw, there was a little bit of a issue with the axle and the rear. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the runs. Well, this Real Riders Fast and Furious car, this Nissan, certainly for its warm up laps, did better than I expected. Just a teeny bit of a shimmy in the rear. I thought it was going to be worse because that slightly bent rear left or passenger side, if you're in the US, excuse me, driver's side, if you're in the US wheel. And it didn't really get much slower. But it did continue to pick up its pace. So we're going to see how these 10 laps go, these 10 official laps, starting in just a second, but let's get her back on the starting gate. How about now? Boom. About to start official lap 1. Make sure she's seated in the lane as center as possible. In the track. Woo, knocked over the Batmobile casing. But 1947, which right now is the fastest. That's the fastest run right out the gate. All right, let's see how the other 9 laps work. Okay, so we are on lap 10. The car had its fastest lap between the warm-ups and the official laps on lap 1 of this lap. Let's see if he can finish just as strong. Woo, he tried. Let's get it. Oh, 1.75. So here we go. The last one, as you just saw, was 1.775. So we have track temp was 67.8 degrees. Room temp, 67.6. Humidity is 46%. Now, again, obviously these temperatures are Fahrenheit. In the database, we also convert to Celsius as well. So we've got the 10 runs. You see, well, actually, let's start with the warm-ups. These are the warm-ups. It only was slow for a couple, and then it just, as you could see, just kept getting faster. With the official laps, looks like it ran pretty relatively snug, but with that first lap, 1.947 seconds. Now, a couple of notes. I talked about the rear, the slightly left, rear left axle's slightly bent. I thought there was going to be more shimmy, but as you saw, just a little bit of shimmy in the lane, but not really bad considering, and it, was pretty good. So we're going to see how it measures up against the other Real Riders, and also against the usual, all the cars that have been tested, measured and tested in the lab, and in its weight class, which I think there's only one other one. So, hey, let's get to it. Let's get back over there. Over there is where the computer is. So kind of, if you don't mind, I'll meet you over there. Welcome back, my fellow Diecaster Blasters. Hope you hit that subscribe button and the like button, and that you'll continue to join me for this amazing journey of 1/64 scale diecast happiness. Okay, so we just finished up with the Fast and the Furious, this Nissan, and it has some surprises for sure. So if you've made it this far, you'll probably be interested in the stats, etc. So I'm going to say that you hit the description. I always include the results in there, but I did do a little scroll through on the Excel spreadsheet, so you can also see that as well. Early on, looks like the average of the 10 official laps was 1.9909 seconds, so just a smidge under 2-second average. But hey, it is what it is. Again, this is a real rider's car, which has rubber wheels. We know those are going to be a little bit slower because of the friction, right? Increased friction for a couple of different reasons. The material, plus if they're sitting there, the way they wear, that kind of thing. So, kind of friction is everything. I ran some numbers to see if this was a frictionless, based on this being a frictionless track. I think the absolute fastest time a car can go based on the track geometry, which is the angle of the slope, the distance of the straightaway, is about 1.5-ish seconds. So again, what we're looking for is not necessarily the fastest car. We just kind of want to see how they perform overall. This is the short form drag strip. In the future, what we've got coming, as I've mentioned before in other videos, we're going to have the 1/64 scale quarter mile drag strip, and that we're going to test the miles per hour to see what they're at the end when they hit that finish gate. And then I'm going to come up with a configuration that will include a couple of S turns, see how cars perform overall in a distance challenge. And then we're going to take a look at the performance in all these areas and really see how they rate. I know that I'm learning a little bit more. There's a diecast racing community out there, which is cool. I follow Meal Ticket Raceway as well. His videos are awesome. John Racer 3, Peak Time Racing. So there are some good videos out there. And again, I want to thank Grateful Sam. So that's GR with the number 8, FUL, Sam. Check out his YouTube channel. He suggested a way of opening these boxes because, yes, I'm a rookie. I am a noob. Although this is number 34 in the setup, but I've been trying to open these boxes in different ways. So bottom right corner worked out really well. Thanks so much for that. As usual, we're going to respect the folks, everything that went into making these cars, making this really what is pretty slick looking. I like the artwork. I like that it's really tastefully done, and I wish it didn't blur out so much when I was trying to do that. Too many things to focus on. But in the meantime, we're going to do the usual, right? We're going to do the usual moment of glory on the lighted spinning pedestal, and I am going to try to get this just right.
Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your tracks today.